With round 1 in Chennai done and dusted, the caravan moves up north to Kanpur. Hello and welcome to Republic World. In this session, we are going to preview the upcoming test, the second test match which is going to take place at Kanpur in this session, where we are going to discuss about the pitch, the playing 11s and everything you need to know. But before that, let me just introduce you to my panel today. I've got my colleagues joining me at this point of time. I've got Jishu and I've got Shane. So without wasting any time, let's get started. You know, Shane, Unlike the soil that we had in Chennai, which was red, the soil that we are going to get in Kanpur is black. So what's the difference? Can you just explain that to our viewers?
So yeah, nowadays in today's day and age, see, the soil plays a very important part, and normally what used to happen was that soil was often indigenous to where you were playing in the nation. Now, of course, most pitches or most grounds in India can export and make red soil, black soil. Now with red soil, what tends to happen more often than not is that the seamers will get purchase and they will get plenty of assistance early on. Black soil normally is used for pitches that are, let's say, a white ball cricket specific, but if you use it for a red ball game, which is what is going to be happening here, you can get batting friendly conditions, but the pitch will deteriorate and you will get uneven or low bounce, which is why a lot of people are saying that this is going to be one test match where the spinners are going to come into play. So you could potentially be seeing for the first time, I mean, everyone was surprised that you were playing in Chennai and you had to play three seamers. Both teams played three seamers. This time around, I think it's going to be a little different. You could potentially be seeing more of a battle of spinners between both sides.
We'll surely come to the playing 11s and the changes that could be incorporated. But before that, I want to, come to you, Jishu, and let's address the elephant in the room. The eyes are going to be on the skies, like was the case in Chennai as well. 2 days before the test match, the AccuWeather, they said that, there are 40% chance of rain. Right now, if you look at AccuWeather, it says that it claims that there is a 70% chance of rain. So what do you have to say about that?
I mean, see, there were rain predictions in Chennai also, right? But none of it happened over there. So we are recording in Delhi right now. The weather is pretty dry. We play the test match, in 48 hours from now on. So even if there is a chance of rain, I see the team going with three paces for obvious reasons, the overcast conditions, the moisture in the pitch and everything. But if it doesn't rain, I don't think it will rain because the weather predictions, more often than not, they get it wrong. So even, if it doesn't rain, I think we are going to have a full 5-day match of action over there.
I'll come to you, Shane, but before that, I want to ask you, why is it so obvious that India is going to play three seamers?
See, they have the ranks of a Jasprit Bumrah with them. They have a Mohammad Siraj. Akashdeep did very well. They have someone like a Yash Dayal who did very well in the Duleep Trophy. So I think even if they rest Jasprit Bumrah, because considering the fact that you will play 3 test matches against New Zealand and then you also have to play the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So I think they'll go with 3 seamers. They might rest Jasprit Bumrah, but yeah, Jadeja and Ashwin, they have done their fair share with both the bat and the ball. So I don't think they'll tinker with their 11.
That is going to be a heartbreak, and you know whom I'm talking about, right, Shane? The local guy, Kuldeep Yadav. So what Jishu is trying to say is that Kuldeep Yadav in that scenario misses out. What is your hunch?
See, I mean, I think it all depends on what it is that the team sees in the pitch. Early indications are saying that it is going to be favoring spin due to low bounce. Now, in that sense, if and when that does happen and we get a confirmation, I think you're seeing a change. Whether it's a Bumrah who sits out, whether it is a Siraj, whether it's an Akashdeep, we don't know. But I do think you're talking about heartbreak for the local lad. I think we may very well see him play because, again, this is a game that is going to be played against Bangladesh. All due respect, not a team where you'd be needing to play an Akshar who also gives you a bit of bowling and also lengthens your batting. Right now with Ashwin Jadeja in prime form, playing very, very well, both of them, I think those would be your 2 frontline spinners, along with a Kuldeep who brings an X factor, wicket taking ability, negates conditions. I think you're going to see him play if they find that, it is going to give something for spinners. I think he has to be playing. I think he's very unfortunate that even now you have an Ashwin who's operating at such a high level that he's never really gotten that much of a look in. I mean, there's other factors as well, but that's for another time in another video. But if you look at it now, it's almost impossible to fit in a full-time spinner when you've got an Ashwin fit. And if you don't have a fit Ashwin, then a Kuldeep plays, or if you want to rotate, in this case, it's a golden opportunity. You need to be playing both of them together. Let them weave their magic on the Bangladeshi batsmen.
What's your bowling lineup looking like? And then I come to Jishu.
See, if your bowling lineup is there, and again, this is just my opinion, I would...
First off, you think Bumrah is sitting out. Jishu, you?
Yes, I think he'll sit out.
Yeah, if you're resting a bowler, it has to be him because you've got 3 tests after that against New Zealand, you'd want him to play at least 2 there, probably the first 2. Then you have to have him playing all 5 down under. There's no two ways about it. Unless you somehow seal the series early, which I doubt. This is Australia. In Australia, it'll be a challenge. So you will see Bumrah get intermittent periods of rest because again, he's someone we know what he brings. But also when he's had injury spells, they've been long. You do not want a case of a Jasprit Bumrah getting injured in the eve of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Not a chance. You're going to be resting him.
As I said the other day, with Bumrah, you just need to, wrap him up in a cotton wool and keep him aside. He's national treasure. Jishu, what is your bowling lineup looking?
See, before starting with the bowling lineup, the wicketkeeper also does as much running as the fast bowler. With every single, he has to run up to his mark. Then again, he goes back to his mark. So I don't understand where does this hypocrisy come from that the fast bowlers should be rested. We understand that these are crucial WTC test matches that India are playing. So obviously, why not? I mean, you can rest Bumrah, but it shouldn't be, we shouldn't make a big thing about why are you resting a fast bowler. As much game time as he gets is good for him heading into the New Zealand series, heading into the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But still, I think Bumrah will be rested, but he shouldn't be.
What is your hunch?
I mean, I understand. And see, that's a subjective thing. I mean, the sport of cricket is so multi-layered, so complex. But there's no such thing as a wrong answer. If you ask me, I too would like to see Bumrah play a majority of the games. It's a case of once bitten, twice shy. We saw what happened in 2022 where you rushed him back. And then in the process of rushing him back, you ended up losing him for a year. He needed back surgery and everything in between. And then the process of coming back from there was a tough one. And that is why I think you will see the team management and why I'm okay with it actually look to give him these intermittent periods of rest. I remember there was a big hue and cry about it when they rested him for the 4th test against England because they're like, how can you be resting him? The series is not sealed. And he ended up doing just fine that time around. And the bench strength India have, even without a Bumrah, I think you'd be favorites to be beating a Bangladesh.
Jishu, the other day after Rishabh Pant, of course, he made a dream comeback to Test match cricket. I asked Shane this question in the review after the first Test match, and I'm actually being so tempted to ask you this question. Has Pant actually shut the door on the other 2 guys, Dhruv Jurel and Ishan Kishan?
Absolutely, there are no
two
ways to it. Absolutely, you're going to Australia, right? Rishabh Pant has to be your first choice wicketkeeper, and what he did with the bat, I mean, he's coming after a huge gap, right? He was injured. He survived a fatal near-death experience, right? So, absolutely, whatever he has done, I mean, he's vintage at this point of time. In my opinion, I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to disagree about it. But as far as the stats are concerned, Rishabh Pant for me right now is India's greatest ever test match wicketkeeper batsman. He has already equaled Dhoni's record, and you see what he does overseas. You see what he did the last time around in Australia. He nearly scored 100 in Sydney, but he missed it out because we know how he plays. He does not refrain himself from attacking, and he pulled off that miraculous Gabba test match. So absolutely, right now for me, Rishabh Pant, they should persist with him. I mean, there's no place for experimentation, at least with his spot.
I think we have more or less covered India. We have to touch upon Bangladesh because they are our opposition. What is Bangladesh's best shot at challenging India? Powerhouse India. How can Bangladesh actually challenge India at Kanpur? What should be their blueprint, Shane?
If you look at it from a game plan perspective, I think the best thing they would want to do and they really hope is that it is a slightly speed, right? Because you go back a couple of years when India were in fact playing a test match series against Bangladesh. This time, of course, the matches were happening at Mirpur. I remember, I think it was the second test where India had an almighty fright. There was a major collapse and you needed a partnership from Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant to actually bail you out of that game because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was Mehdi Hasan Miraz who was really troubling the Indian batters, something which ironically he ended up continuing doing into the ODI series that followed, which Bangladesh had 1-1. So I think their best hope would be that, because it's very funny, but we live in a generation now of Indian cricket where Indian batters play pace better than they do spin. Your top players more often than not tend to come a little bit undone against quality spin. And in fact, not just necessarily quality spin. We saw what Tom Hartley did on the first chance he got, Shoaib Bashir. These are all guys who were young, new, not played much county cricket, and they were able to trouble the Indians. You've seen what it is a Nathan Lyon can do, a Matthew Kuhneman, I'm forgetting that other guy's name, it's a Todd Murphy. He was another one who troubled India a lot. So these spinners, I think, will be the key for Bangladesh, and they'd really be hoping that it does turn a little bit.
What happens if Shakib Al Hasan is not playing? Because there are reports that he's picked up a finger kind of an injury, and the doctors are looking into it, and it's pretty, I mean, there's a lot of doubt over his availability day after tomorrow.
It will be demoralizing for them. to some extent, because see, Shakib Al Hasan is their biggest star. He's equally good with the bat, he's equally good with the ball, effective in every department of the game. You know, he can play those clutch knocks, he can get you those crucial wickets. So at this point in time, if Bangladesh end up losing Shakib Al Hasan, let's call a spade, they have no replacement for him, right? Even with him in the squad, I think they made a very technical error. I understand they were tempted by seeing the overcast condition, they put India to bat first, right? They just forgot one basic principle, that they were to be the last one to bat in the last innings, at the fourth innings, right? So many teams avoid that in the long format of the game. So if Bangladesh, you know, the best chance they can give themselves is that if they win the toss, they should bat first. In my opinion, they should have done it in Chennai. But I don't understand I understand the temptation with everything, with the overcast condition. They might have anticipated that the rain might have come. Exactly. But then Ashwin came by, and then, you know, he did what he did. So I don't think at this point of time it will be really good for them to lose Shakib. I mean, it will be a huge setback for them. It's like India losing on a Virat Kohli or a Rishabh Pant.
So yes, in this session we figured out what exactly could be expected at the Green Park in Kanpur, the toss, the conditions. It is going to, I mean, there are forecasts of rain. We also spoke about the playing 11s, if any changes could be incorporated or not. Thank you so much for joining us on this session on Republic World. This is our Sport Fit. Keep watching us for all the latest across sports. Thank you so much.